From Shakespeare to Wembley, queuing to Sunday roast. Being English means many things, but at its heart, it's about standing up for what we believe in. Democracy, fairness, decency and respect. This St. George's Day, let's celebrate all it means to be English. Cheers, sad sack. Cheers, mate. I love it. I love that. I love a nice patriotic troll from the overtly hostile Mayor of London. Brilliant that, innit? Amusingly, for a man who definitely doesn't, but says that he believes in democracy and fairness, I'm not allowed to reply. He's locked the comments and nobody can respond to it. So democracy and fairness are important, but you're not allowed to speak because you're probably going to disagree with the poison dwarf that rattles his cousin. So apparently Sadiq has educated me about what's English today, and it was fascinating, a real learning experience, because it turns out that when, like me, you come from, 80 generations of the British Isles, so far, you don't even know, do you? If you're born and raised in England in the 60s, 70s, 80s, you don't even know. We're not like the Americans who are actually interested in our background. You just think, somewhere around here, innit? No point looking into it. But it turns out those people like me, we're definitely not English. We aren't. For example, I moved to America when I was 35, so I'm definitely not English. Definitely not. Uncle Ben's English, and Nelson Mandela is, and Xi Jinping, and Ayatollah Sistani, and Abu Hamza and, Saddam Hussein, they're English, but I'm not, because I moved for a little bit. So I'm definitely not, but they definitely are. So I thought today I've learned so much about being English on Twitter, predominantly from Moroccans. I thought I'd do a quick top 5 of what it definitely means to be English in 2025. Because some of you people are ignorant, you're bigoted and you're ignorant, and you don't know how the world works. You've been left behind, you're a dinosaur. So me and, who's this fella? This Englishman here. This Englishman is going to educate this American, and then I'm going to tell you what actually is English in 2025, because you need educating, don't you? So let's get started. Right, first things first, obviously, because this story's in The Guardian, and they've put a little headline on there, a big yellow one saying, this article is more than 6 months old. So you'll, assume it's not true anymore, but it is only 6 months old. I'd say instead of more than, it's only 6 months old, and it's from The Guardian, so I'm using a nice lefty source, and it says there needs to be calls for greater protection for girls as female genital mutilation cases rise by 15% in England. Brilliant. Prevention of the practice needs to be treated as a public health issue, says head of National FGM Centre. So there you have it, don't shoot the messenger. I'm just giving you the facts, right? That practice is so English. England now has a National FGM Centre. I don't think there's one of them in Somalia, is there? Checkmate, racist. Hospital and GP attendances about FGM have risen by 15% according to NHS figures, and there were almost 15,000 attendees about FGM in the 2023 and 2024 financial year. There was also a rise in the number of women and girls who had to visit the hospital because of FGM, and the head of Bananos said, "You do not know the way." So, to sum up, it's very, very English. There is nothing more English than having 5 or 6 relatives wrestle your teenage daughter to the ground, clamp her in irons, and then hack parts of her genitals away with a broken bottle. Don't shoot the messenger, I'm just reading you the facts. That's English. In 2025, it's as English as fish and chips, Morris dancing, and George Formby, okay? You've all been enriched, just lean into it. This story from Le Monde's talking all about the grooming gangs that are under renewed scrutiny and investigations. After being viciously attacked by Elon Musk for his inaction, Keir Starmer said he allocated £10 million for further investigation. See, this story should have a banner on it, shouldn't it? Out of date. I mean, this was only written in February the 8th, but this is out of date because we already know the big man has already cancelled that investigation. You know why? Because it's an inherent part of English culture. Yeah. Getting dragged off the street, belt-fed 6 bottles of White Lightning, and then banged more than Stevie Wonder's big toe above a greasy kebab shop by 30 foreign men who pass you around, the friends and family, who get lifts to the knocking shop by the female relatives. Apparently. Never used to happen in England, but it does now. So, yeah, happy St. George's Day, especially to you groomers out there who have been operating with impunity for 3 decades because of English politicians. Have a good day, lads. Third up, we've got this, only 7 days old, very English. Man threw acid at teenager when he refused to hand over his coat. A drug dealer who threw acid into a teenager's face in a premeditated street attack has been jailed. Gilson Martins hurled the corrosive substance at his victim after the 16-year-old refused to hand over his jacket. Now, when I was a lad, it was considered courteous and very English to hand your jacket over to a young female, for example, if she was a bit chilly. Whenever we were knocking about down the park, all the lads used to give the coats over if it was a bit cold, during the winter and the autumn. What we didn't do, because we weren't English, is we didn't throw acid in the faces if they, spurned us briefly. Turns out we'd been doing it wrong. When my granddad was courting me granny, he propositioned a lass before her at the dance and she said no. If he was really English, he would have then melted her lips off with a bucket of battery acid and left her a mewling wreck on the floor with crispy lips. Basically, he'd Simon Weston his date, okay? If he was English, that's what he would have done. But he clearly wasn't, because he's only, born and raised there for 28 generations. So I hope this has been illuminating. You're learning what it means to be English. And if you think it's Morris dancing or the Beatles, martial prowess, sailing ships, no, it's not. It's not. It's Bangra, bumming, and burning off lips. And obviously I went on Google and typed in St. George's Day, and they sent me this fantastic picture of a big golden bell end church, presented by Historic England. And it's a fascinating read. You can scroll down here. It says here, look, there are an estimated 1,500 bell end shaped churches in the British Isles. Amazing. So you know what that means? 1,500 of them. That means they're English. Yeah, they're English. And York Minster and St. Paul's Cathedral, they definitely aren't. They're just foreign muck. They've only been there like millennia. These bad boys rocked up in the 70s. So they're English. Suck on it. And also some kids got their lips melted off in Clapham. But, I've already covered that one. Let's just sum up, shall we? It's getting boring. You've already been culturally enriched. You don't need me to keep talking, do you? If Owen Jones chirps up on Twitter and wants to tell you what being English is, despite the fact he's self-loathing and hates his own nation and hates his own culture and hates his own family and friends and way of life, make sure you listen to him, because he knows what he's talking about, right? And David Lammy, don't forget David Lammy is definitely English, even though he said he's from the Caribbean and he doesn't identify as English, and he thinks the English taxpayers should send £50 trillion to Jamaica just for a laugh. He's English as well. So if any of you guys are still in any doubt after this video, just shoot David Lammy or Sadiq Khan a quick message on Twitter. I'm sure they'll educate you about what being English is. And the bloke who was from there, but moved out when he was in his mid-30s, don't listen to him, because what does he know? Definitely a foreigner. I'm more American than Uncle Sam. Okay, I know less about England than the pot-bellied, size 12-footed tribesmen in Brazil who've never been anywhere near a town and started throwing the spears at the helicopter because they thought it was a demon of some kind. So make sure you stay informed. Listen to the people that know, like people called Sadiq or Iftar, and definitely don't listen to the ramblings of people called Bob Brian, because they haven't got a clue what they're talking about, okay? Have a great St. George's Day. Celebrate with some Bangra music and some Bombay mix. And I'll see you all tomorrow. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Cheers.